Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shiur.
Shalom and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi Brachos Daf Nuntes. We're 10 lines from the top. Says the Gemara. V'al has voice. The Mishnah taught us that if one experiences his voice, he makes the bracha shekoicha yugvarasim aloylam. Hashem's power and strength fills the world. Says, well, what is this? My voice. What are voice? Amrav katina goya. It's an earthquake. If one experiences an earthquake, he makes the bracha. Says the Gemara of Katina, Habaka'azal ba'urcha. There was a story of Katina was traveling on the road. Kimata, when he came at Pischa to the doorway of the home, the Bay, Oiba Tamya, the home of the Baal Oiv. Tamya used to use Tamya bones for Kishav. This was something called Baal Oiv. So when he came to the home of this individual, Gonach Goya, a great earthquake, a powerful earthquake took place. Omar Shav Katina announced, Mi Yada Oiva Tamya. Does Oiva Tamya know? Is he aware? Hai Goya Mao. What is this? What is the definition? What is the source? What brings about earthquakes? Says the Gemara, Ramalei Kolle. So this Baal Oiv responded noisily, Katina, Katina. Why do you think I don't know? Amahi lo yadana. Why do you think I don't know? Certainly I know the cause of earthquakes. It is as follows: when Hashem remembers His children, Klal Yisrael shashrim b'tzar b'numas ha'olam, that are dwelling in suffering and tsar and galus in between the nations of the world. As a result, Hashem releases 2 tears into the great sea, and the koiloi nishma, and there's a booming noise, a koil that reverberates throughout the entire world. And as a result, an earthquake takes place. So certainly I know the source of earthquakes. Omer of Katina, so Katina responded and negated him. This Baal Oiv is Kadiv, is a falsifier, or Mile Kadivin, his words are falsehood. It can't be that that's the reason. Why? Because Ihachi. If that was the case, it should have been a double earthquake as a result of 2 tears. Certainly, he's merely making things up. Says the Gemara, actually it wasn't so. Goya Kaya of it was actually a double earthquake. If so, why did Rav Katina negate the words of the Baal Oiv? Why didn't he admit to him? He did it so that the common folks wouldn't erroneously follow him and seek his counsel and advice, and he would earn respect in their eyes. Therefore, he negated him and his words. Continues the Gemara, what indeed is the source of earthquakes? Rav Katina, the day Omar, Rav Katina himself gave the reason. Soipe kapav is because Hashem claps his hands together, and as a result, an earthquake occurs. Shenemar, as it says, Gamani, Ake, Kapi el Kapi, Hashem saying, I clap my hands together, Vani choisi, Chamasi. By doing so, I let my anger rest. Rav Nassan Omer, the earthquake results from the following thing. Anocha misaneach, Hashem sighs, a sigh. Shenemar vani choisi chamasi bam, v'nechamti. I will let my anger subside, and I will be consoled. Rashi explains that when a person is full of fury, he releases his anger and he calms himself down, restores his mind by sighing. So Kaviyachal, in a similar fashion, so to speak, by Hashem, in order for Hashem to have his anger subside, he releases a sigh, and as a result of that anacha, that sigh, an earthquake occurs. Rabbanan Amri, a different reason. Bayat Berakia, it comes as a result of Hashem kicking the sky. Shanamar Heidot Kedorchim Yana El Yekal Ishay Aretz. So Kedorchim is the tramplers. So we see the concept of trampling and kicking regarding Hashem, and this brings about these voice, the earthquakes. One more explanation from Rav Acha Yaakov Amar. Doiche gets raglo tachas kisei hakoved. Hashem forces his feet under the heavenly throne, the kisei hakoved, and that brings about the earthquake down here on earth. Shenemar Koy Omar Hashem Hashemayim kisei, the sky is my throne, my kisei va'aretz, and the earth down below is hadoim ragloi, the footrest, my footrest. So when Hashem forces his feet, so to speak, under the kisei hakoved, that has an effect all the way down here on the footrest down on earth and brings about an earthquake. Continues the Gemara v'ala ra'amim, on thunders. One also makes this bracha. My ra'amim, what exactly is ra'amim? Amar Shmuel, it comes about as follows, as a result of anani begalgala, the clouds colliding with each other, scraping on each other. Shenema koil ramcha begalgal, the koil, the sound of the ra'amim, of your ra'amim begalgal, through the clouds colliding with each other and rubbing against each other. Hi'iru brakim tevel, the flashes of lightning light up the world. So you see that the ra'amim come as a result of this phenomenon. V'rabbanan amri, what brings about the ra'amim, the thunders? Anani the shavchi ma'il. There's a clouds pouring water into each other. Shenemar l'kol titam on mayim hashamayim, the void. The sound comes from the placing of a lot of water in heaven. Rav Yaakov Amar, the thunder comes about through the following sequence of events. Barka takifa, a powerful lightning. The barak banana that shines through into the cloud. Umitbar gzizi the barda, and breaks, chops through the pieces of hail, and as a result of this breaking of the hail, the thunder is heard. Rav Ashi Amar, a different explanation. Anoni chalchuli mechachli, clouds that are hollow. Vasi ziko mashva pumayu, and the wind comes and blows by the opening of this hollowness, and it produces a sound, v'dami, and it's similar to zika pumdani, like the wind blowing on the opening of the barrel. It's like a wind instrument, and that causes the sound of thunder. Concludes the Gemara, umistaver, it's reasonable to say, ki Rav Acha bar Yaakov, like his explanation, who stated that the thunder is a result of the lightning shooting into the cloud and breaks the hail, and the ensuing sound is a sound of thunder. Why is it reasonable to learn according to this version? Because as we see, when it rains, so ordinarily we first see a flash of lightning, and then the clouds rumble, and then rain comes. So apparently, it's all brought about through the flash of lightning, which shoots into the clouds, which breaks the ice and the hail, and as a result, rain is released. Says the Gemara, Mistaver Karach Yaakov, because we see the Barak Baraka, first is a lightning, Anani, and then the clouds rumble, and then as a result, rain comes, Va'asi Mitra. Continues the Gemara, Vala Ruchos, on strong winds. My Ruchos, what are these strong winds? Any wind? Says the Gemara, Ma'abaya Zapa, very strong winds that come through fury and anger of Hashem, like a hurricane, like a tornado. V'Rabai, Gemir, we have a tradition. Zapa B'leil Lehavi. A zapa never occurs at night. Says the Gemara, V'Hoka Chazina Dehavi. We see that it does take place at night. Hahu Daschulu B'Imam. It's only because it began by day. V'Rabai Gemir, we have a tradition as follows: a zapa, this strong, powerful wind, Tarti Shoy Lekai, it doesn't endure for 2 hours. Lekayim Bashanamar, to fulfill what it says in the pasuk, Loisakam Pamayim Tzara, that a tzara, a misfortune, will not come about twice. So this is referring to 2 hours, therefore it doesn't last for 2 hours. Mocha Chazin on the Kai, we see that it does. It says the Gemara, the mafsik beni beni, must be that it ceased in between, it wasn't consecutive. Continues the Gemara, Vala Brakim, Oimer Shekoichoi, Baruch Shekoichoi Gvarasam Ale Olam. My Brakim, what is Brakim? A Rava Barka, a flash of lightning. Mashal says that Rava is highlighting the fact that it could be even a single flash. Barka doesn't have to be plural. And that already requires a bracha. Va'amar Rav, Barka Yichida, if we witness a single flash of lightning, only one flash, it only flashed once, or Barka Chivra, a white flash, or Barka Ruksa, a green, some say yellow flash, Vanani the Salka Mekarim Arabis, or if we see that clouds are rising from the westerly corner of the sky, Ve'asim Mekarim Joimis, and come around from the southern side, or, so he's listing a list of events, and he's going to explain that all these things are an ominous sign. So either the single flash, the white flash, the Yeroiksa flash, these clouds that are coming from this direction, or he sees Tarti Anoni de Salkon. He sees two clouds that are coming up, Chadal Api Chaverta, that are coming one in the face of the other, colliding head first. Kulu Kasha, they're all negative signs. What is the purpose of Rava teaching us this? So we ask Rachmanas of Hashem to spare us from any negative repercussions that are symbolized with these events. This is only concern when these things are witnessed at night. But in the morning, less of a mashasha, it has no significance, and there's no room for concern. These morning clouds, less of a mashasha, insignificant. We can't rely on them to produce rain. The chsiv, as it says, giving the musr, is saying your kindness is so weak. It's kanan boker. It's like the wispy, like the clouds of morning. So we see that morning clouds carry no potential to produce anything good. Your kindness, your chesed, is merely like the clouds of morning. So indeed, morning clouds carry no potential of resulting in rains. How can you say that morning clouds are not productive? How are you going to explain the common folk saying? Don't people say as follows? When you open your gates in the morning, mitra, and you find rain, it's a good sign. It's a sign that the crops will be very productive. And as a result, we go tell the merchant, Bar Chamrach, we go tell the donkey driver who's bringing grains to sell, go ahead and fold up your sack, fold it up, vegan, and go to sleep. There's no point in doing business, because the rains that are here are going to result in an abundant crop, and the prices will drop, and you won't be making too much money, so don't waste your time doing business. So we see that the morning rains are productive. So how does that work with what we said before, that the morning clouds are not something to rely on for rain? Says more like kash, it's not difficult. It depends what type of clouds. One is speaking about that the sky is overcast with thick clouds, which do produce good rains. However, when we said the morning clouds are insignificant, that's discussing anani, thin, wispy clouds. They certainly are not ones to rely on for rain. Hashem created thunder, the power of thunder only, to straighten out the crookedness found in one's heart. Person, he's gripped with fear, with awe. You know those real powerful thunders in the middle of the night. You know, they grab you, they send you, it evokes awe and fear of a great magnitude. It's meant to straighten out a person's heart, that he straightens them out to Hashem, he does tshuva. So the point of Ra'amim is to be paishet, to straighten out the akmum, is the crookedness found in one's heart, to bring him to tshuva and closer to Hashem. Shenemar v'alakim asa shiur ulfana. Hashem did create a certain phenomena so that we fear Him, and thunder is one of those things. Says the Gemara, Ba'ava Alexandri Omer Shomalevi Hareis Hakeshes Be'onan. One sees a rainbow in the cloud. Tzorech sheyipol apanav. He's meant to fall down on his face in reverence to having witnessed the glory, a sight of Hashem's glory. Shenemar, as it says by Yecheskel, Kemari Hakeshes Be'onan, like the sight of the rainbow in the cloud. Va'era, and I saw Va'epol aponai. So we see that Yecheskel responded in this way when he had a sighting of this glory of Hashem. So too we're meant to fall down on our face in honor and respect and in awe and reverence for this glorious sight. Marava and Eretz Yisrael, they condemn this behavior, this conduct of being neifel apanav when one sees a rainbow. Mishum de mercy, it appears command the masked lekashta, appears as if he's bowing down to the rainbow. So he's not meant to do so. Avo, nevertheless, bruchi vadim mavarach is definitely meant to make a special bracha when he sees a rainbow. My mavarach, which bracha? Baruch zoicher bris, Baruch Hashem, who remembers, recalls the covenant, the bond, when Hashem pledged after the Mabul that He will not bring a similar event anymore to wash out mankind. So the rainbow is something that Hashem displays to display this bris, this covenant, this promise that Hashem promised to us. So when a person sees it, he makes this bracha, Hashem, you are zeicher bris, and you remember this promise. Masni Satan, the Brachos we learned that what is the proper text, nusach of this bracha? of a rainbow. Hashem is trustworthy. He's reliable with his bris, with his promise and his covenant. And he fulfills his word. He keeps his word. Indeed, he merely shows us the rainbow to indicate, to remind us regarding that whole event of the Mabul and the ensuing promise. However, he keeps his word and doesn't bring a Mabul again. If so, we have two versions. One is Zoichar Bris. We have another version which is Nemam Brisa V'Kaim Mamori. If so, let us join it together as one. Hilkach Nemrinu Tavayu. Let's join it together, combine both formulas, and compose a bracha in the following manner: Baruch Zoichar Bris V'Nemam Brisa V'Kaim B'Ma'amori. Continues the Gemara, Laharim al Gvois. The person sees mountains and canyons. Mishnah tells us the bracha recited then is Oise Maasav Bereishis. Hashem does the work of creation. Says the Gemara, why specifically on these items, on these landmarks, Harim and Gvois and Yamim, etc.? What about the aforementioned events of Zikin, Zvois, Brakim, Ra'amim? Are they not one of the Maasav Bereishis of the works of creation? Says the Gemara, Atu, are you going to propose that Kol Hani Damar Adhashta, everything stated until now, all the events, the thunder, the lightning, Lav Maasav Bereishis Ninu, are not part of the work of creation? Perhaps they were developed later. They weren't embedded in the world as it commenced. But that's not so. Vaksiv, it says in the pasuk, Barakim Lamata Asa. So Hashem created all these phenomena right at the beginning of creation. So why is the term Maasav Bereishis not applicable to those as well? Why only to landmarks? Omar Abai, you're right. Kroich Matani, wrap it together and learn it as one. Both clauses in the Mishnah, the one listing the events, the earthquakes, the thunders, the lightnings, together with the second portion of the Mishnah, which dictates, lists landmarks, Harim, Gvois, Yamim, Naharis. Wrap it all together, and indeed, both brachos are meant to be recited on both classes of sightings. Both require the bracha of Oisem Maasav Bereishis as well as Shekoichak Brasam Eloilam. Rav Amar says a different teretz. Hasam Avarach Tarti. Over there, in the first category of events, earthquakes, thunders, lightnings, he can make both brachas. He has a choice. He can make either Oisem Maasav Bereishis or Shekoichak Brasam Eloilam. Hasam Avarach Tarti. Either Baruch Shekoichem Eloilam or V'Oisem Maasav Bereishis. So that's only regarding the first list. However, Hacha, regarding landmarks, there is only one option. Oisem Maasav Bereishis Ikka. Only Oisem Maasav Bereishis. But Shekoichem Eloilam Leka. Certainly you can't make the bracha of Shekoichek Brasam Eloilam, since these are local landmarks. They're not throughout the world. Events like thunders, lightning, earthquakes, they reverberate throughout the world to the distance. And therefore, the term Mali Olam fills the world. Is certainly suitable for them. However, landmarks, a mountain which is located in a specific area, doesn't earn this title of Koyach Varsam Mali Olam. It's a local phenomenon. Therefore, the bracha that is more appropriate is Oise Maasav Bereishis. Now, Abaye holds that even on landmarks, the bracha of Shekoyach Varsam Mali Olam can be said, is necessary to be said. So apparently Abaye holds, although it's a local scene, nevertheless, since this phenomena of extraordinary landmarks, Harim and Gvois, are prevalent throughout the world. So this concept is a worldly concept. It is a concept that is Mali Olam. Therefore, even to a specific local landmark like a particular mountain, the bracha of Mali Olam is also applicable on account of the fact that this phenomena, such types of extraordinary phenomena exist throughout the world. Continues the Gemara, one who sees the rakia, the sky, in its purity. Says Gemara, when does this happen? What is he referring to in its purity? When it rains all night, so it rains all night and cleans the air, and in the morning, asa istana, a northerly wind comes and blows everything away, and reveals the sky in its clarity and purity. So So then he makes a bracha of Oisem Maaseh Bereshis. Says Gemara, Upligi, this seems to be a machlekes with the Rav from Rav Papa, Rav Chisda. The Amar Rav from Rav Papa, Rav Chisda. This phenomenon is not witnessed nowadays. Miyom Shechar Beis Hamikdash, in the time of the Chur Beis Hamikdash, Lo Niris Rekia B'Tarasa. The Rekia is never seen, was never seen in its purity, in its clarity. Shenemar Albish Shamayim Kedeiros. Hashem says, I will enclose the sky with kadrus, with darkness, with blackness. V'sak asam ksusam, and I will place their clothing like sack. So the sky never reveals itself in its true clarity and purity. Unlike the Shita, the opinion of Shlomo Levi, who maintains that even ben Zman Hazeh, even nowadays, one can witness this phenomenon. So, in summary, regarding the brachos, recite on the following events. We spoke about Keshes. One sees a rainbow, he makes a bracha of Zocher HaBris. The Gemara concluded that he's meant to say the entire bracha. Zocher HaBris. V'neman b'brisai, v'kayim b'ma'amarei. When one experiences zikin, events such as earthquakes, thunders, lightnings, according to Abaye, he's meant to make both brachas, tarti. He makes Shekoicha Gvarsa Malei Olam and also Oisem Maaseh Bereshis, according to Rava. He has a choice of one or the other, either Oisem Maaseh Bereshis or Koicha Gvarsa Malei Olam, as explained in Tosfos. According to Rava, he doesn't make both brachas, but chooses one or the other. Regarding static phenomena like extraordinary mountains, Harim and Gvois, and so on, according to Abai, here too, both brachas are applied. Shekoicha Gvarsa Malei Olam and Oisem Maaseh Bereshis, according to Rava. Only the bracha Oisem Maaseh Bereshis is recited on landmarks. Finally, regarding Rekia B'Tarasa, the sky in its purity and clarity, according to Rishon Levi, this can be seen even nowadays, and the bracha is Oisem Maaseh Bereshis. Continues the Gemara, Tana Rabbanan, we learned in the Brachos, Haroya Chama B'Tkufasa, if one sees the sun, B'Tkufasa, when it is placed in position at the beginning of its cycle, meaning it's right now located at the same exact position, the same exact location as it was standing when Hashem placed it in the sky. We know that the sun was actually created on the first day, but Hashem placed it up in the sky and activated it only Yom Revi on the fourth day, actually Tuesday night, at the beginning of the night at 6 p.m. So when the sun returns to that exact location where it was at the point where Hashem activated it in the sky, so the time and place coincide with the same time and place as it was then, he recites a special bracha. The same thing regarding Levana B'Gvarasa, the moon in its strength, the planets in their orbits, Mazalas Kesidron, the constellations in their order. The Rambam explains, gives a explanation based on it's some sort of event in astronomy which is not so understood to common folks, and it's not really so practiced, except for the first item, which is the bracha recited on the Chama, on the sun when it returns to the beginning of its orbit, of its cycle. And it's something which is a momentous event, which we experienced a couple of years ago. This is the Birchas HaChama. So the bracha to be said is Omer Baruch Oisem Bereshis. He makes the bracha Baruch Oisem Maaseh Bereshis. The Gemara soon will elaborate on this thing of Chama B'Tkufasa. How do we determine what is the exact definition? How often does it happen? It says the Gemara Ve'emas Havi. When does this happen? Amar Abai Kol Chav Ches Shnin. It happens every 28 years. Every 28 years, the sun will return to the beginning of its cycle, and that will be reminiscent of the same position during the days of creation. Continues the Gemara, V'hadar Machzar, the cycle returns, V'nafel Tkuvas Nisan, Tkuv of Nisan falls out, B'Shabsoi, under the rule and jurisdiction of the planet Shabsoi, which is Saturn, and that actually comes out to be Bu'urta de Tlas, on Tuesday night, Nagi Arba, the night before Wednesday. Rashi gives us a crash course in astronomy here to help us understand this Gemara. So briefly, it's as follows. The solar year consists of 365 days plus 6 hours. The solar year is split into 4 sections, called Tkufos, season if you will. We have the Tkufas Nisan, which begins with the spring equinox, when the day and night are of equal length. we proceed to the next Tkufa, which is Tkufas Tammuz, when the day is the longest. Then comes Tkufas Tishrei, which is the fall equinox, and finally Tkufas Teves, where the night is the longest. Now, how long is each Tkufa? Simple, we split the total year of 365 plus 6 hours into 4 sections. And we come up with the amount of 91 days and 7.5 hours per Tkufa. So suppose Tkufas Nisan begins on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. That's how it was during the Brias Olam. Tkufas Nisan began with the placing of the sun up in heaven. That was Tuesday night at 6 p.m. So when will the next Tkufa begin? It will begin 91 days later, plus 7.5 hours. So we removed 7.5 hours off of 6 p.m. So we have 6 p.m. plus 7.5 hours, end up being 1:30 a.m. And the next Tkufa will be 91 days plus 7.5 hours. So we removed another 7.5 hours. Now, how soon can we get that Tkufas Nisan should occur at the same time at 6 p.m.? That's going to take a while, because if we total up all these extra hours, so the total of 1 year will be 30 hours of extra hours. We have 7.5 times 4, which equals 30 hours. So next year around, when Tkufas Nisan comes around, it can't possibly commence at 6 p.m. because it's 30 hours removed from the beginning of Tkufas Nisan of last year. And 30 hours doesn't equal the day. It's not an equal day. So it must be that the next Tkufas Nisan will be removed somewhat from 6 p.m. It will be removed about 6 hours. So we can't have Tkufas Nisan fall out 6 p.m. merely with 1 year cycle. For that we require that this should go on 4 times in a row. When we complete a 4-year cycle, which is a machzor katan, a small cycle, a minor cycle, at that point Tkufas Nisan will indeed fall out at 6 p.m. Why? Because we take the 30 extra hours from the years, we multiply it by 4, we come up with an amount of 120 hours, which is exactly the amount of hours required for 5 full days, right? 5 times 24 equals 120. So at this point, the Tkufas again realign. And just as Tkufas Nisan this year came out 6 p.m., in 4 years it will come out also at the same time at 6 p.m. But it won't be the same day. This year's Tkufas Nisan fell out at 6 p.m. on Tuesday night. But in 4 years, it will fall out on 6 p.m., but not on Tuesday night. Rather, on a different night of the week, because it's 5 days off. So we have it come out on the same time, but not the same day. So how do we get that Tkufas Nisan should fall out on 6 p.m. on the same exact night as the first year? For that we require many, many years. We require 28 years. How do we get to that? We multiply the machzor katan, this small set of 4 years, and we multiply it by 4. At that point, this will result in the Tkufas Nisan coming back not only to 6 p.m. but also to Tuesday night at 6 p.m. You work it out. It works out. So that's the calculation here. When we have a machzor katan, which is a series of 4 years, which brings the Tkufa back to the same hour, and we multiply that by 4, which equals 28 years, which results in a machzor gadol, a large cycle, that indeed restores things exactly the way they were in the first year. It restores the Tkufas Nisan, in our case it restores the Tkufas Nisan back to 6 p.m. on Tuesday night. So at the time of Brias Olam, the Tkufas Nisan began on Tuesday night at 6 p.m., which was the first hour of a Tuesday night. Therefore, we require 28 full years in order for us to achieve that same exact event, that same exact phenomena, the same time and place as the sun was positioned at the beginning of when it was placed in Shemayim. Now there's one more point here. There are these planets. Rashi explains they rule the world in different hours. Each hour has a different planet, and one of them is Shapsoi, Saturn. And every hour of the day and night, there's a different planet that rules. Rashi explains that Tuesday night, the first hour of Tuesday night, is ruled by Shapsoi, by Saturn. So now let's get back to the Gemara. It tells us Abai. When do we know? How do we know that the Chama is being seen, is being sighted bitkufasa, in the same exact place and time, same exact position in orbit as it was when Hashem put it up in the sky during the days of creation? That happens every 28 years. Again, ve'emas havia marbaye kol chav cheshnin, every 28 years. Because in that case, the cycle restores itself. V'hadar machzar, this cycle goes back to its initial, to its beginning. V'naflo tkufas nisan, and tkufas nisan falls out on Tuesday night, in the first hour of Tuesday night. V'naflo tkufas nisan b'shapsoi, when Shapsoi rules, which is the first hour of Tuesday night, b'urta the tlas, on Tuesday night, nagi arba, the night before Wednesday. So since we are witnessing the sun in the same exact position, same exact location, the same exact time and place as it was when it was hung up in the sky, when it was placed in heaven, activated by Hashem during the days of creation, on that first Tuesday night, the first hour of Tuesday night, which began the first Kufas Nisan. So when that repeats itself, we make the bracha of Baruch Oiseh Ma'aseh Bereishis, because we have a point of reference. We can refer back to the sun as it was during the moments of creation, during the Sheishis Yimei HaMaseh. We see it in its original state, in its original position, and therefore we make the bracha of Baruch Oiseh Ma'aseh Bereishis. Continues the Gemara, Rav Yehuda Omer, Haroya Hayam HaGadol, Lefrakim, only when he sees it occasionally. Ad Kama, what is considered to be Lefrakim? How often? Omar Rami Ba'abba Rav Yitzchak, Ad Shloshim Yom, once every 30 days. V'Amar Rami Ba'abba Rav Yitzchak, Haroya Pras, a person sees the river of Pras, Agirshu the Bavel, by the crossing point, by the bridge of Bavel. At that point, we are sure that it wasn't diverted yet, it wasn't redirected, it's still flowing in its original course as it was created during the days of creation. Therefore, he makes the bracha. When he sees Pras in that location, he makes the bracha, Baruch Oiseh Bereishis. Says in Rav Idna, nowadays the Persians diverted it, so therefore he can't make the bracha at that location anymore because it's not in its original state. He must go up to Shvar Le'el, to the place of Shvar, and upward. From there and upward, it is still in its original location. Rav Yosef Amar Me'id Dikir Le'el, from the place of Idikir and upward, that is Pras in its original flow. V'Amar Rama Abba Haroya Diglas, the person sees the river of Diglas, Agishra, the Shabistana, by the bridge of Shabistana, Oimer Baruch Oiseh Bereishis, because over there too, it hasn't been diverted yet. It says, my chidekel, what is the meaning of the word chidekel, of this river? Omar of Ashi, Shemem of Chadin V'Kalin, its waters are sharp and light and healthy. My Pras, Shemem of Parim V'Ravin, its waters are fruitful and make a person be fruitful and multiply. V'Amar Rav, Haida Charifi Ben Mechayza, why are the people of Mechayza sharp? Misham the Shasu Maya the Diglas, because they drink the water of this river Diglas, and that influences their sharpness. Why are they reddish? Because they have relations by day, and therefore on account of the sun which is reddish, their children come out looking reddish. Why do their eyes wander? Because they live in dark homes, and as a result their eyes wander. Why do their eyes wander? As a result of the darkness of their homes. Continues the Gemara, like Shamim, on rains a person makes a bracha of Hatoiv HaMeitiv. V'alak Sham Hatoiv HaMeitiv mevarech. Is that so that on rains a person makes a bracha of Hatoiv HaMeitiv? V'amar vo v'amar lo masisa tana within the brayso me'emas ha'mevarech v'alak Shamim. From what point does one make a bracha when it rains? Meshayetze chasan kras kala. When the chasan comes and greets the kala. This is a martial euphemism to the puddles that are found on the ground, and when it rains, so the drops of rain that drop into the puddles elicit a response. The droplets extend upwards. The droplets in the puddles bounce upwards. So that's an abundance of rain and requires a bracha. What exactly is the bracha? We express our thanksgiving to you, al kol tipa v'tipa, and every single drop Shirat Talan that you brought down for us. Rabbi Yechon Misayim Ba'acha, he concludes as follows, with the text that we have in our Nishmas, Ilu Pinu Malishir Kayam, if our mouths were full of song like the ocean, V'chulu, etc., the text that we have in Nishmas, Eino Namaspikim Lo'id Z'lecha, we don't have sufficient, we don't suffice to express our thanksgivings to you, even if our mouths are filled with song like a sea. And he keeps on saying until Tishtachave, and he concludes with Baruch Hashem Rov Adois. Hashem, the Hashem of Rov Adois, of many thanksgivings. Says Rov Adois, B'loi Kol Adois. Only He's the God of many thanksgivings, not of all of them. Amarava, Ema. You're right, indeed, he's meant to say, Baruch Hashem, Hakelo Adois, the Hashem of thanksgivings. Amar Papa, if so, if we have conflicting texts, let us join it together and compose a bracha that comprises both things. Hilkach Naminu Tavayu, just as Rav Papa said earlier regarding the bracha on the rainbow, here too Rav Papa joins everything together. We're meant to say Rov Adois, the Hashem of many thanksgivings, and Vakel Adois of thanksgivings. So, in summary, we have a kasha here. The Mishnah tells us that on rains, the proper bracha is Hatov HaMeitiv. We have a Gemara which tells us, some quoted in the name of a Brisa, that the bracha is Moed Malach, not Tov HaMeitiv. So what is the correct version? Vela kasha. Says the Gemara, like kasha is not difficult. It depends. Hada Shama Mishma. One is speaking about when he heard news about rain. That is our Mishnah. And therefore the bracha is Hatov HaMeitiv, on good news. But the Brisa which says Moedim, the Chazal Mechse, he himself witnessed the rain, and therefore he makes the bracha of Moed Manach Loch. Says more, that's so. The Shama Mishma, the Mishnah speaking about when he heard about the rain. If so, Hainib Suris Toives. This is good news. A Tanan, the Mishnah already tells us the bracha on good news. Av Tanan, Al Suris Toives, Oymar Baruch HaTov HaMeitiv. So the Mishnah apparently is classifying them separately. Mishnah tells us Geshamim and Suris Toives require Tov HaMeitiv. Apparently Gshamim is not Suris Toives. Elo, you must say Idi v'Idi dechozu michsi. The Mishnah that gives us the bracha of Tov HaMeitiv on rain, and the Brisa which dictates that bracha on rain is Moed Manach, both are speaking about he himself witnessed the rain. But like Kash, that's not difficult. It depends how much it rained. Hadas Purta. The Mishnah speaking about, the Brisa speaking about that it rained little. Therefore the bracha is Moed Manach, Akol Tipa v'Tipa on every single drop, even if it's little. However, the Mishnah, which gives us the bracha of Tov HaMeitiv, is speaking about the Asa Tuva, it rained a lot. And therefore he makes a bracha of Atoiv, the good one of HaMeitiv, and gives goodness. Continues Gemara Bois Ema, if you wish, I'll give you another teretz to this kasha. Both the Mishnah and the Brisa are speaking about the Asa Tuva, that he witnessed a big downpour of rain. For like kasha, it's not difficult. The Islay Ara, the Mishnah, which gives us the bracha of Atoiv HaMeitiv, is speaking about the Islay Ara. This man is a landowner, he's a farmer, and he's deriving personal benefit from the rain when it's watering his field. So he makes the bracha of Atoiv HaMeitiv on account of Hashem giving him personally goodness. The Leslie Ara, the Brisa is speaking about he doesn't have land, therefore the bracha is Moed Manach Loch on the rain that you have given us. Says the word, is that so? Islay Ara, Atoiv HaMeitiv and Varach. Is that so? Can you propose that if one is a landowner, he makes the bracha of Atoiv HaMeitiv, even though it's only his individual benefit, his individual personal joy, he's not sharing with others. V'atanan, haven't we learned? Bana bayis chadash, if one builds a new home, v'kana kelim chadashim, or he purchased new kelim, new utensils, what bracha does he make? Omer baruch shechiyanu v'kimanu lazman hazeh. Why? Because it's his own personal joy. It's individual joy. He's not sharing with others. Therefore, the bracha is baruch shechiyanu v'kimanu lazman hazeh. However, shaloi v'shel acherim, if he's sharing the joy with others, it's an item that was procured for him and others, then it's a shared joy. Omer hatoiv HaMeitiv, thanking Hashem for providing him with goodness, toiv to him, v'hameitiv, and to others as well. So how can you suggest that a farmer, on his own, makes the bracha of hatoiv HaMeitiv? It's not a shared joy. Says in Maloi Kasha, it's not difficult. Let's remember that a farmer's joy is a shared joy, shared with all the other farmers and landowners. Lekasha had the Islay Shutvis. It's speaking about that he has a partnership, meaning he's sharing the joy. Indeed, it's a communal joy shared with the other farmers, and therefore the bracha is a teva meitiv. However, this halacha that a shechiyonu is recited, that's the less like shutfis when there's nobody else sharing the joy. V'atanya, as we learned, what is the brief conclusion of these halachas? Al shaloi, on a personal joy, you omer baruch shechiyonu v'kimonu. Al shaloi v'al shechaberei, on a joy that is shared with his friend as well. Omer baruch hatoy v'amit. So, in summary, regarding Shamim rains, if a person merely hears the good news that it rained, he makes the bracha hatoy v'amit. If he actually witnesses it, so then we have two terutzim in the Gemara. According to one teretz, the Gemara depends if it's a lot or a little. For a lot of rain, he makes the bracha hatoy v'amit. If it's ma'at, then he makes the bracha moedim rachim loch. According to the second teretz, the Gemara depends. If he's a landowner, if yesh loi sada, if he has a field, if he has ara, then he makes the bracha hatoy v'amit because this is personal teva. And since he shares it with all the other landowners, the bracha hatoy v'amit is in place. If he does not have land, then he makes the bracha of moedim anachnu loch. Continues the Gemara. Is that so? Is that so when there's nobody else joining in the joy, taking part in his simcha, then he doesn't make the bracha teva meitiv? The less when there's nobody else sharing his joy, the bracha teva meitiv is not in place. Haven't we learned? They told him the following news, the good news: Yolda Ishti Zachar, his wife, gave birth to a baby boy. It's his own personal joy. Why is this bracha in place? Says the Gemara, there too he's sharing it. His wife is joining, is taking part in this simcha, the nichala b'zachar, because she's also pleased and happy on account of having given birth to a baby boy. As the Farshim explains, certainly even when a girl is born, it's ample reason for joy and for satisfaction. In fact, in halacha we know that when one sees his baby girl for his first time, his baby daughter for the first time, makes the bracha shechiyanu. Nevertheless, the bracha teva meitiv is unique, it's specific to when one procured and received material gain, like in the case of rains, like in the case of a Yerusha inheritance, we'll see soon. So the Farshim explained that regarding a Zachar, a Ben Zachar, since he is more likely to have the ability to provide for his parents, to sustain his parents in their older years, therefore both parents, the father and the mother, are experiencing a high level of joy when he's born, and certainly the bracha l'teva meitiv is apropos. Continues the Gemara, Tashma, Meis Aviv, his father passed away, Vu Yershay, and he's the Yersh. But first he said Baruch Dayan Emes, as a result, on account of the tragedy of the passing. And then he adds and he says, on account of the Yerusha, of the inheritance that he's just received. Says the Gemara, if so, why does he make a teva meitiv on a personal, individual hana, on a personal joy? Hasam Nami, there too, it's speaking about the Ika Achi. There are other brothers, the Yarsi Badei, that are sharing the inheritance with him. Therefore, it's a communal joy, it's a shared joy, and the bracha of Teva Meitiv is in place. Toshma, come and listen to the following brayso. Shina Yain in Tzarech Levarach. If one is sitting, drinking wine, and he switches to a different type of wine, he doesn't need to make a new Bari Priagafen. Shini Makayim, but if he changes location, Tzarech Levarach, that requires a new bracha of Agafen. Although switching wine doesn't require an additional bracha of Bari Priagafen, it's included in the first Hagafen. But since he switched, Rashi explains, he switched to a better wine, a wine of higher quality, that requires a bracha of Baruch Hatoy V'Ameitiv. So we see that even a person drinking wine on his own, he makes the bracha Hatoy V'Ameitiv. It's his own personal individual joy, he's not sharing with others. Says Mar Sanami, there too it's speaking about the Ikab Nei Chabura. There are the members of the group, the Shasaba, that are drinking with him. Therefore, since it's a joy and pleasure that is being experienced by a group of people, it's a communal joy, it's a shared joy. Therefore, the bracha Teva Meitiv is certainly in place. Thank Hashem for providing me with goodness, Hatoiv, and also to the others in the group, Viha Meitiv.